Hey everyone, and welcome to ArtScope. I am your host, Richard the Madman Moore, and joining me today is a young artist by the name of Alyssa Leandra Dalangin. So, Alyssa, how did you get your start in art?
Well, for me, I grew up homeschooled, so I think that kind of encouraged my parents to kind of make sure I had lots of different venues of creative expression. I remember owning like a very small plastic easel when I was really young.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember anything I painted on it. It was probably just nonsense, but art supplies were always available to me if I needed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it wasn't until I was like 13 that I had the realization that people got paid to do art. Like it was something like people did as a profession.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, art has to come from somewhere. I could be one of those people that make the art that's in stuff. I should try to do that. So that's when I got serious. I was always goofing around with art like most kids do.
Yes. All right, so that's actually really interesting. I don't think I've ever met anyone that was homeschooled before, so I'm guessing your parents were obviously big supporters about your earlier artworks.
Yeah, they've always been very supportive.
Are any of your parents or anyone close in your family also artists?
Surprisingly, not in the same capacity that I am. My mom is creative in a lot of different ways. She did scrapbooking and sewing and cake decorating, but never really like drawing. My dad is a musician, and he's been playing ever since he was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've noticed that looking through your two Tumblr accounts and a little bit on your YouTube channel, it seems that you have a very, I think, early or late 80s, early 90s Disney feel to your artwork. I think your latest little animation test, you have a very, Oliver and Company and the Brave Little Toaster vibe to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. What were some of your early childhood influences in animation?
Well, it always changed as I was growing up. When I was really little, the first cartoon I got super duper hooked on was the Powerpuff Girls. And I remember drawing dozens and dozens of my own Powerpuff Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the first like character creation I ever did as a kid. And then as I got older, I got into like anime. I was into Hamtaro and Tokyo Mew Mew and stuff. And now that I'm older, I just kind of let whatever I like influence me, whether it be, mainstream animation or... I still really like Craig McCracken's stuff. I don't think his work necessarily informs mine very much, but I like a lot of his design sensibilities.
Now, for those who don't know, that don't follow you, you are a multifaceted artist. You don't just do animations or little doodles. You do a lot more than that. You got, oil paintings or watercolors. And you also do your little felt stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just going to say... for a long time, I only did digital art when I got really comfortable with it. And I think in recent years, I've gotten tired of being stuck in front of a computer all the time. So I started trying to do acrylics and watercolors and clay and felting and all sorts of stuff. I haven't really gotten proficient at anything, but it feels good to try different things.
You fooled me because especially your watercolor paintings are amazing. The ones that you've shared on Tumblr, and the same with your felt plushies. They're quite adorable, and you've only actually started doing those this year. Is that correct? In the last couple of months?
Yeah, just a couple months ago, I picked up a kit, and I was like, well, why not?
Well, I'm glad you did because they are quite adorable. What grabbed your attention? What inspired you to do little felt animals?
Honestly, I just happened to see like a small kit for like making a dolphin in a Japanese dollar store. And I picked it up and thought it looked fun. And I made a seal out of it instead of a dolphin. I was like, that wasn't so hard. I could do more of these.
Yeah.
And I've just been making more ever since.
What has changed about your artwork the most over the years?
I mean, obviously style changes as you get older and more mature with your art. But I think more than anything, what's affected my art is the way I approach it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's something I can easily quantify in words, but you just learn to look at art and how to construct it in different ways. Like, if you read any kind of art book or tutorial, they'll all give you different steps for how you're supposed to make a drawing. And I think after trying lots of different steps over the years, I finally found, like, the steps that are comfortable for me. And I'm sure that'll keep changing, but...
What is it, what's the most enjoyment, or what's the most fulfilling part about what it is that you do?
I like making the things that I picture in my head become something I can actually look at in real life.
Well, what hardships have you come across so far?
I think for me personally, I struggle a lot with never feeling quite satisfied with the things I make. Which is both a good thing and a bad thing because it pushes me to keep trying harder, but it also can be very frustrating at times.
Since you have so many artistic outlets, what is your particular medium that you prefer to work in?
Overall, I think I'm still the most comfortable with digital stuff. I feel like I have the most control over it just by way of being the most experienced with it. But I really like needle felting lately too. It's very satisfying to see something you created in a physical form that you can hold.
What are some of the more memorable experiences that you've had? Like, have you been to many cons or any close encounters with the fans?
I don't know that I've necessarily garnered fans.
No?
At least I've never sold at a convention before, so it's hard to say. But something cool that has happened, I designed this character for this particular thing. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but basically I designed a character for a voice synthesizer program. And the character got like moderately popular in that circle of people. Enough so that I was approached and asked for a high-resolution image of her official art so that she could be made into a life-size cardboard cutout at a convention.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was a convention in Japan, so I couldn't go and see her, but seeing people taking photos next to a life-size cardboard cutout of my character was pretty cool.
Are you, at this moment, are you allowed to reveal the name of your character? Is this something that...
Oh yeah, she's been around for years. Her name's Suzume Arika.
Okay. I'm sure people will be looking that up. I know I will be. When you work on any of your art, what kind of atmosphere do you look for? Like, what kind of music do you listen to? Are you a quiet person, or do you have music blaring in your head?
I guess what I listen to kind of changes depending on the tone of what I'm working on, but for the most part, I really enjoy upbeat music. I like dance music. I really like classic disco. Just funky stuff in general.
Now, you also dabbled a little bit in some CG stuff. How's that coming along?
Oh, I just took one Maya class and I was screaming the entire time. It was very scary. I don't think very well in terms of three-dimensional objects or programs.
What was it? Was it the textures? Was it...
I couldn't even figure out how to texture. I'll figure it out next semester.
Okay. Now, you have actually created a little video game, a visual novel.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I've actually made one, and I'm working on another significantly larger one. The first one I made is called Algor Mortis, and it's about a fawn and he ends up living with a girl who's rotting to death.
There's your hook.
Yeah, that's the pitch. It has 4 different endings, varying degrees of happiness depending on which one you get. The one I'm working on right now, I've been working on it for quite a while, is called the Doenkai, and it's a pretty traditional dating sim where you play as the main character and you get to pursue a love interest. Mm-hmm. But they're all non-humans. One is a tiger, but he's a bipedal tiger and not just a normal tiger.
Okay.
So, no, there's a fish boy, a tiger boy, a piano head, a robot.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of the character artwork for this. Okay.
There's 2 more, and I always forget a couple of them when I try to list them all. But anyway, you can see them all on doenkai.com.
A favorite piece of yours that you've worked on?
It's hard to pick like a long-running favorite because it can be like a week, and then I'll look back at a piece and see everything wrong with it. Mm-hmm. So the longevity of pieces I like isn't always very long, but I recently did a page of sketches of a pink shark that I'm pretty fond of. Okay. It's just sketches, but I was really happy with her. She's cute.
So right now, what would you consider your dream project? What would you just absolutely love to work on?
My dream, like my end goal dream, is to be the director of a cartoon of my own creation. Or maybe not even the director, just like a head in creating my own cartoon. I'm working on a pitch for one right now, actually, that I've been sitting on the idea for a while. Mm-hmm. It's about a supervillain who ends up adopting a little alien girl, and he has to keep her safe on his intergalactic supervillain travels. And it's just kind of the hijinks they get into.
Who would you want to work with professionally or even artistically? Anyone in history, obscure or not, who would you want to work with?
People always ask me what studio I want to go work for. Unfortunately, I don't have a particular studio in mind. I'd prefer to work for a small one rather than somebody big like Pixar. Yeah. But if I'm naming somebody specific, I would work for free if Craig McCracken would have me. I want a storyboard for his cartoons so badly.
Understandably, I get that. What is one of your guilty pleasures?
Eating entire bags of high chews in one sitting.
Entire bag of what?
High chews. They're they're like Starburst but better.
Okay. Starburst but better. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will disagree with you on that. Starbursts are pretty good.
They're pretty high tier, but high chew is higher tier.
Okay. What's the best advice that you've ever been given?
I think just anybody who's told me anything encouraging, I would consider the best advice. Mm-hmm. You can get all the artistic advice in the world, but if you don't keep drawing, it's impossible to get better. So I think anyone who's just told me, like, keep drawing, that's been the best advice.
For anyone else those aspiring little Alyssas out there, what advice would you like to give them?
Aside from keep drawing, I would have to say don't be harsh on yourself, but don't get mad at yourself if things don't always turn out the way you want. Being critical of your own art is important, but it's also important not to be self-defeating or to discourage yourself from keeping on trying. Seeing the flaws in your art is important towards improving. Mm-hmm. But you should also learn to be proud of your successes too.
Excellent. Very good advice. Now, finally, where can people find your artwork and how can people support you?
I usually post all my art, usually in compilations these days because I'm so busy, to Tumblr or Twitter. My handle on both is Lee Dalangin. You can find me on either, and I update pretty frequently. Other than that, if you want to look into the games that I'm developing, I'm also Lee Dalangin on Itch.io. I'll hook you up with a link to that if you want.
Yes, please.
And just keep an eye on the stuff I'm working on, because I'm working on a lot right now.
I for one, you've made a fan out of me for sure, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with next. I'm definitely going to be trying out I'm not a huge player of visual novels, but I'll definitely be looking into the first one that you made.
Thank you.
All right. Again, Alyssa, thank you for your time, and thank you for doing this, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.